ready to govern. All right, I'll now call to order this meeting of the City of Whitehouse Council for this evening, Tuesday, November the 9th, 2021. It is 6 p.m. Ms. Hargis, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. James Wansley.
Here.
Zach Briscoe.
Here.
Paul Hickey.
Here.
Michael Lowe.
Here.
And Dick Jackson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Minister Nathan Adams with Whitehouse Church of Christ is here tonight. Will you please stand if you're able and join Minister Adams as he leads us in a word of prayer?
Our Heavenly Father, we come before you in prayer, acknowledging, as your prophet Daniel said, that you are the ruler of all mankind. You bestow your power upon those whom you choose. Father, we pray that you bless this meeting here tonight and that you bless these that you have bestowed the power to govern upon, Father. We thank you for their sacrifice and for their service to the people of Whitehouse. Father, we pray that you always bless our community with peace and freedom as we trust in you. We pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. That was great. That Texas flag one's like a pop quiz, and you guys all All right, that brings us to item D, presentations. We're going to start tonight with recognition of outgoing council members. Are there any outgoing council members here?
No, we decided to stay.
Councilman Jackson and Mayor Pro Tem Hickey, will you guys please come down to the front? We got a little something planned for you guys. Councilman Jackson here on the left. All right, Boy Scout Troop 359, you may begin. These Boy Scouts are holding two City of Whitehouse flags that flew over City Hall up until recently. They were retired. So today we're saying goodbye and thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Hickey and Councilman Jackson, each after serving a full 6 years on the City of Whitehouse.
Hey.
So let the public know that both of these men ran for council out of a sense of duty. They saw a city in need of their help and were willing to step up and face the city and be the face of the city while they did their best to turn it around. I see this as the same as running into a burning building and try to find a way to put it out from the inside. It takes a lot of courage. It's rare to find individuals who are both willing and able to step up and serve in times of trouble. It's also rare that a council member will serve a full 6-year term. This position is unpaid, time-consuming, and generally comes at the cost of friends while you do what's best for the city. This is extraordinary, and extraordinary is exactly how I would describe Councilman Jackson and Mayor Pro Tem Hickey. Through their terms working with city staff, the city has improved in immeasurable ways. Our relationship with our citizens, Smith County, Whitehouse ISD, and our surrounding cities are stronger than ever. Our city staff is stronger than ever. And thanks to the proactive and intentional planning of these council members, Whitehouse is more financially sound than ever. I believe that when you build a winning team, it's easy to attract talent. And if you look at what's going on in our community organizations like the Chamber and Keep Whitehouse Beautiful and our EDC, just to name a few, you'll see proof of this belief. Councilman Jackson and Mayor Pro Tem Hickey, when you look back at your time on council, I hope you'll take a moment to appreciate the huge positive impact that you've made on the community. And I hope that we, as a community, when we enjoy the fruits of their labor, we'll take a moment to appreciate these fine councilmen for taking the time to prepare the orchard and plant the trees. Please accept these retired City of Whitehouse flags that once waved over City Hall as a small token of our appreciation for your service to this city. Now's the time when you make your speeches.
Well, I appreciate everyone that elected us and then allowing us to have a voice for the city and allowing us to be able to bring your concerns to the city. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve you for the last 6 years, so thank you. It has indeed been an honor and a privilege to serve on this council. To kind of move forward a city that I grew up in and love, and I wanted to see it get better. And we ran on the slogan of move Whitehouse forward. I think we've done that, and I think it's going to continue with the leadership that's here now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, men. Come on up. You still got a little bit of work to do. And thank you again to Boy Scout Pack 359 and Jason Beaton for somehow prying those boys away from whatever they were doing there. They got all kinds of stuff going on, so we definitely appreciate them as a part of the ceremony. All right, that takes us to item E, community interest. Do we have some items to cover here, Mrs. Black?
Mayor and council, just a reminder that the Whitehouse Chamber of Commerce is hosting both Christmas in the Park and the annual Christmas Parade on Saturday, December 4th. Christmas in the Park will run from 12 to 6 p.m. and the Christmas Parade kicks off at 5:45. They have made some changes to the route this year that will start coming out of the Whitehouse Stadium and continuing down 346 down to the high school, so it will not travel on 110 this year. So just a note about that. Anybody that's interested in signing up to participate in either parade or Christmas in the Park can visit the Chamber's brand new website at whitehouse.tx.com, and it's on their homepage to sign up. And then also, as many of you know, we have two Whitehouse guys that were participating in the World Series with the Atlanta Braves. Both AJ Minter and Josh Tomlin are local, and we're very proud of their success in the World Series this year. And then Whitehouse Pack 359 that did the flags for us, and they were also noted in the New York Times article about the Rose Parade. They led the parade this year, so we're very proud of everything they've done, both in the community and being recognized for that.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone on council have anything to add in the matter of community interest? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to public forum. Did anyone sign up to speak in public forum, Susan?
No, sir, they do not.
All right, so we'll move past that section to item G, the consent agenda. You have before you a consent agenda. Entertain a motion to move something onto the agenda or just approve the consent agenda as presented.
I go ahead and make a motion to approve the consent agenda as it stands.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, with that, the agenda passes. That takes us to item H, a swearing in of the 2021 Whitehouse Youth Community Council with Smith County Judge Moran. I just have a quick thing to say about this for those that might not be familiar with this organization. So this group of Whitehouse ISD students that are scattered among you, look around, there's probably a student sitting next to you. They'll spend the next year creating a strong foundation for a program that we're bringing forward. They'll be the first to experience the trials and the rewards of this program, and their journey will begin next week with a 4-hour workshop where they will develop a mission and vision for this organization that will be led by Core Insight's Brian Brandt. It's an experience that's usually reserved for Fortune 500 companies and cities. And then after Thanksgiving, among themselves, they will nominate a mayor, a city manager, a city secretary, and a director of HR and finance. And then those remaining will serve as council members. They'll be voters, people that are actually voting members of that council. They will plan and bring to life a project within the city identified as important by their constituents, who are their fellow high school students. And if they dot all their I's and cross all their T's as they present that to City Council, we will award them $5,000, up to $5,000 to cover the cost of that project. They'll also be able to raise public-private partnership donation funds within the community as well. These students will also represent our city and Whitehouse ISD as they travel to a program that's going to be held statewide for like programs. And this is just the beginning of what the ISD students and the campus and the city through this partnership is going to experience as a part of this program. So Whitehouse ISD sponsors Katie Pratt and Coach Ross Smith have have a lot in store for this, and they worked really hard to establish this program. We appreciate the cooperation with Whitehouse ISD, and we couldn't do it without these sponsors. So we look forward to working with you, sponsors, and you as students. So if you will, Judge Moran, please.
Thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity to be part of this inaugural event with these students, these wonderful students, a lot of whom I know, and so I'm happy to see them tonight. I want to invite each one up. I'm going to call you each, and then if you'll come up and just do me a favor and stand right along here, then we're going to swear you in 1 second, but I want to hand you a personal letter of congratulations that I prepared for you to begin. So Miss Avery Winfield, come on up. Josephine Owens. Ryder Kelly. Rayleigh Upshaw. Jonathan Bush. Chris Carlisle. Emma Thomas. Grayson Martin. Sophie Christopher. Starting to run out of space once you get, here we go. Macy Johnson. All your parents are gonna wanna see you, so we're gonna figure out how to do this so they can all see your face and take a picture of you. Riley McFadden, come on up, Riley. So guys, actually, if you just go down to the end down here, we're gonna squeeze together in one line right along, because I'm gonna swear you all in here in a second. You're all gonna raise your right hand. Congratulations, Riley. Brianna Lindsay. Caden Black. Come on up, Caden. You bet. So you're going to need that letter in your left hand because your right hand you're going to raise up. So if everybody will line up in a straight line, side by side right there. Get real comfortable. You're going to repeat after me. There you go. If all the parents can come and you get your angled pictures here if you want. Everybody get positioned.
The other ones go down this side.
All right, so if all the students will raise their right hand and give your parents a chance to get in position. Raise your right hand for me. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
That I will well and truly.
That I will well and truly.
Perform the duties.
Perform the duties.
Of a member.
Of a member.
Of the Whitehouse Youth Community Council.
Of the Whitehouse Youth Community Council.
To the best of my skill and ability.
To the best of my skill and ability.
Upholding all its ideals and principles.
Upholding all its ideals and principles.
As to me shall seem to be.
As to me shall seem to be.
In the best interest and welfare.
In the best interest and welfare.
Of the city of Whitehouse.
Of the city of Whitehouse.
And the students of Whitehouse ISD.
And the students of Whitehouse ISD.
Congratulations. That's great. So each of you are going to sign the oath you just took. I've signed it as the administrative officer, and we can do that now, I suspect. So Ms. Winfield, come on up here. You can sign. I'm going to give you a pen. Ms. Josephine Owens, come on over here. And once you sign, you're welcome to have a seat. Josephine, where you at? Right.
And I'll say while Judge Moran is facilitating this, that a couple of items down,
Really?
after we swear in the council members, there will be a 20-minute recess. So if you want to stick around to that time, you can get more pictures, and there'll be a little bit of breathing room in the meeting.
Jonathan? And actually, yeah, and if when we get done signing these, can we get a group picture just facing that
Absolutely.
way? Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Chris? Emma? Grace? Sophie? I didn't realize your real name was Sophie. Threw me off by something. Mason? Riley? Miss Lindsay? Tell me this. Hey, come on here. Sorry. All right, there's your oath of office. Do we want to get a real good group picture facing in? So everybody come up here, we're gonna face this way. Y'all crowd around here, we're gonna get you pictures. Mayor, tell me if I'm going off.
I don't know if they can see us.
I think you're doing great.
Mayor, I want to say something.
Yeah, I'll open it up, absolutely.
Why don't you guys give him a round of applause?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, y'all are gonna have a great year, we appreciate it. Anything else from council? On this subject?
I just want to say, this to me is really innovative. I love our young people. Two of the many good things about our city, among many things, are our school system, and we have a low crime rate, okay? Also, this to me is democracy. And one thing I love about it is that you youth council people, you brought your parents. That's cool. I mean, I love it. Also, it still is the greatest country in the whole world. And whenever I ran for my term to get elected, I met with Miss Cindy over here in the school system, and I always struggle to try to get more people involved in coming to our meetings, because y'all, it is your city, it's not my city, you know, and we all are in this together. So bravo, I tell you, this is gonna be, I predict, a big deal for our city. So congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, and if you stick around for just a few more minutes, you'll see some council people getting sworn in too. All right, thank you again. That takes us to item H2, which is canvass the election results on the November the 2nd, 2021 general election.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council. The information to canvass the November 2nd election was received today from the Smith County Elections Office. Michelle Alcon is the new Smith County Elections Administrator, and she has been the absolute best person to work with during this election. She is a true professional. I think this has been the best election season that I've had since beginning in this role. A total of 353 votes were cast in the City of Whitehouse election, with 352 voters checked in. The difference is because of a limited ballot voter. A limited ballot voter is one that is registered in another county but is now living here. The voter is allowed to vote only on the issues that are on the ballot in the county where he is registered. This voter was limited to the constitutional amendments only because he was not registered here for 30 days prior to the election. Before you tonight is Ordinance 21-110901 to canvass the election returns for Council Place 1, Council Place 3, and Council Place 5. The election results are as follows. Council Place 1, Zach Briscoe received 290 votes. Council Place 3, Richard Flandera received 51 votes. John Chambers received 226 votes. And then for Council Place 5, Heath Rosenstein received 280 votes. The results are the official numbers from the Smith County Elections Office, and staff recommends approval of the ordinance as it is presented. I did present each one of you the updated version tonight at your place.
All right, council, you have the election results and an ordinance in front of you. Will there be any further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance number 21-1109-01.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. With that, the motion carries. All right, that takes us to item 3, swear in council places 1, 2, 3, and 5. All but 1. Smith County Judge Nathaniel Moran, will you please join us for this as well? And you can take it away, sir.
All right, my pleasure, Mayor. Thank you for this opportunity and the privilege
Yes,
to
sir.
be with you tonight. I want to go in order of the places, so Mr. Briscoe, if you'll come forward. If you have anybody else you want to bring forward during this oath, we can do that. Right here. All right. If you'll raise your right hand for me. You solemnly, please repeat after me. I, Zach Briscoe,
I, Zach Briscoe,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council Place 1
of City Council Place 1
in the City of Whitehouse
in the City of
of
Whitehouse
the State of
of the
Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
of this state,
and
the ordinances and charter of this city.
the ordinances and charter of this city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Call up Miss Georgia Harris. City Council Place 2. Congratulations. If you raise your right hand for me. I, Georgia Harris,
I, Georgia Harris,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council Place 2
of City Council Place 2
in the City of Whitehouse,
in the City of Whitehouse,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
of this state,
of this state,
and the charter and ordinances
and the charter and ordinances
in this city.
in this city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Do you want her to sit, or are we gonna wait till? Okay, yeah, we'll switch over.
Mr. John Chambers, for place 30. Chambers. If you'll raise your right hand for me and repeat after me. I, John Chambers,
I, John Chambers,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the
the
office
duties of the office
of City Council,
of City Council,
Place 3,
Place 3,
in the City of Whitehouse,
in the City of
of the
Whitehouse,
State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my abilities
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
of this state,
and
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of this city.
of this city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And then finally, Mr. Heath Rosenstein. All right. Mr. Rosenstein, if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Heath Rosenstein,
I, Heath Rosenstein,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of City Council Place 5
of City Council, Place 5,
for the City of Whitehouse
City of Whitehouse,
in the State of Texas,
in the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and
the
laws
Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
of this state, and the charter and ordinances
and the charter and ordinances
of this city.
of this city.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's my kind of guy.
Thank you so much. So at this time, could I have the new council members go ahead and join us up here just for a second? We're gonna have you seated and have the outgoing council members kind of swan song off the stage right quick. And that'll give the new council members kind of a Kodak moment before we take a 20-minute recess. So please find your way up and we will applaud you on your way down. Oh, back door, huh? Okay. and Keith is right over here by Michael. There are assigned seats.
My man.
So everyone please be seated. And I just want to note, right before we recess, that you three are replacing pillars that served on this council in this community. And the weight of their positions is now on your shoulders. Welcome to council. Let's take a break. There's no objections from council. We'll take a 20-minute break. All right. We are adjourned for 20 minutes.
Man, glad to have you, big guy.
Good to see you again, man. Long time no see.
I like to hug. That's my kind of style.
I will have to, good to see you. I will have to sign when you get back.
think you can come to at least one of the EDC meetings.
Oh, yeah. Hey, very important.
How are you? Better now that that's over.
Isn't it marvelous? This is your own, this is just a statement of election. Go out this way, so you can help with the Yes.
I'm John Chambers. Nice to meet you. I've been on the EDC for a while. I knew you had. Yeah, so I knew. Yeah, hopefully, mostly good things have been said.
this in 6 years.
All right. I'll now call back into session the city council meeting for the city of Whitehouse for November the 9th, 2021. Time is 6:46. And welcome, new council members. We're gonna pick up kind of right where we left off. And item number 4 on the agenda is an election of mayor pro tem. So the mayor pro tem is designated to perform the duties of mayor in my absence. And they'll be tasked with engaging the community and running the council meetings. So this position, it's important to have someone that has experience in running open meetings and that is somebody that's pretty well established in the community. They're going to be pretty much facilitating the same role that I'll be serving. So the nomination comes from within the council. I'm not a voting member, so I don't get to make a nomination. So I'll open it up for conversation now.
I nominate Zach Briscoe.
Okay. Yeah, I think Zach does have tenure, and I know Michael fairly well, and I trust his judgment on this one.
I appreciate it. I'm honored, and I'll do the best I can.
All right.
All right, I have a nomination and that's the conversation. So all those in favor of appointing Zach Briscoe as mayor pro tem, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, congratulations, Councilman Briscoe, Mayor Pro Tem Briscoe. Thank you, Councilman Lowe. All right, so we're moving on to item number 5, the 2021-22 end of year budget presentation. All right, it's our favorite time of the year.
Mayor and council, in your packet for this meeting, Jennifer had prepared the income statement for the fiscal year ending September 30th of 2021. We ended up with a great year. There were a few things that were a little different, but you've seen this recently. We did a budget amendment. For those of you that were on the council about a month ago, we did a budget amendment and cleaned up some things. So I've just prepared a brief chart here showing where we started for both the general fund and the utility fund. Those are our two largest funds. We had anticipated finishing the year in the general fund with about $8,000 in revenues over expenditures, and we'll actually finish the year with $631,000 in revenues over expenditures. The largest part of that is due to the coronavirus funding that was passed down through the federal and state government, but that also includes the purchase of 109 East Main, which was not an original budget expenditure. So we had a great year. It's largely also in part due to our conservative forecasting on revenues. They tend to come in much higher than what is budgeted, as you can see on this chart. The utility fund, we expected to, let me get over to that page, expected to finish the year with about $3,600 in revenues over expenditures. We actually finished the year expending $127,000 more than revenues. That is in totality due to a lapsed appropriation from the prior fiscal year, which was the sewer plant blower room. It's about $190,000 that we did not account to go over into the current fiscal year. All of the revenue for that project was received in the prior fiscal year, so it would just be offset. It's just an accounting treatment. I do also want to note that these are unaudited financials. As our auditing firm goes through the audit, these numbers are subject to change at any time once they start accounting for things like depreciation and some of the other accounting treatments that are required. Other than that, staff is happy to answer any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions right now. Do you, Michael? None for me, anybody?
All right. Any action required on the part of council for this?
No, sir.
All right. Moving on to item number 6, discussion and consideration and possible action on specialized public finance presentation on refinancing of 2012 certificates of obligation and possible future issuances. I'll hand that over to you, Mrs. Black.
All right, Mayor and Council. As you know, we have been discussing the possible issuances of COs for quite some time. This also includes the refinancing of 2012 COs. We have asked Specialized Public Finance to come back. Mr. Paul Jason is here tonight to do this presentation. If you'll give me a few seconds to get it pulled up. In prior discussions, one of the things that you had asked for is a project list. That is included in your packet down under the capital improvements plan. We have several projects identified there to the total of $17 million. That does not include any recommendations that will come out of the facilities plan and the broadband plan. So all total, I think we were looking somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 to $30 million worth of needs for capital projects in the upcoming years. So as requested, staff had put that together and is happy to answer any questions that you may have about that. But let me get this open and I will turn it over to Mr. Jason.
Do we have that on paper, those 17 projects? I remember looking at it electronically in an email. Do we have that on paper now? Or somewhere on the screen?
I don't have it in my PowerPoint, but I can get it to you or pull it up in just a second.
Okay.
Pass it around.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they're in there. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yes.
So we've got hard copies and then a public version. Thanks for reloading that. For the record, Paul Jason with Specialized Public Finance. This is an update from the meeting in October. We've provided two options here to look at. Obviously, we've got the action item for the council to consider is the notice of intent to issue COs. There's an update on the refunding. That's just an information item, of course. So the 2012 bonds can be refinanced. Rates are extremely low right now. We've got some cushion in there as well, so we'll discuss that option. We would want to do these simultaneously. Council decides to move forward, do the certificate of obligation issue and the refunding at the same time. It just makes it more efficient for the city and could save some costs on the transaction. We looked at $10 million for the certificate issued in 2022. The whole goal is no tax rate impact. So we work closely with city staff to make sure we fully understand the resources available that we can use, as well as the refunding, the projected growth rate, some of the key assumptions to allow for no tax rate increase to issue $10 million in debt next year, 3.5% over the next 6 years. That's probably conservative considering the economic opportunities that you have in the city. We have about 0.25% cushion in these rates. So if you were to sell today, rates would probably be lower by about 25 basis points or 4%. And we assume 100% tax rate collections. Certificates are expected to be sold competitively bid on a competitive bid basis January 11th and then close in the middle of February 16th. Page 2 is the financial model that we use to exhibit the tax rate impact of the assessed valuation growth, starting from left to right, current assessed valuation and the growth that we assume, and then it assumes zero growth after 2029, which is pretty unlikely. We've got all your existing debt service built, moving from left to right. The estimated savings from the refunding, that's the proposed refunding that we'll discuss tonight, and then the amortization structure for the certificates. Rates that we're using are 2.13%. Again, this is a fixed rate. If you were to sell today, we took bids for the City of White Oak bank bids. Didn't go to the market. It was 1.7% was the winning bid. So rates are extremely low. That was the same amortization structure that you're looking at. So let's hope the rates stay low because we won't set those rates until we take bids in January. As far as the INS contribution, you've built up a nice balance in that account. That has to do obviously with the collection rates that you have at 100%. So you can only contribute that to debt service, and so that's being used to offset any sort of tax rate impact over the next couple of years. That's some extra cushion for you as well. If one of these assumptions is not hit, you have some flexibility there. If you needed to use more of that fund balance, we had that balance at 1.1 million So you can see the existing tax rate for FY '22. This is just your debt service tax rate we're talking about at 42.5 cents. This structure allows you to maintain that tax rate, and then it will drop as you see as the debt service drops off after your existing debt pays off. And then the final amortization of this structure is 2033. Page 3 is just the sources and uses. You sell roughly 10 million in proceeds from certificates. Will generate some premium through the bid structure to cover the cost of issuance, so you net a full $10 million to the construction fund. $110,000 is the cost of issuance for all the parties involved to do the financing. That'd be our firm, bond counsel, attorney general, rating agency fee, trustee fee. All the fees related to the transaction are included in that cost of issuance. Unless there's any questions about the COs, discuss the refunding and give council an update on where we stand with that. Again, it's the 2012 bonds that we're looking at refunding. They become callable February of 2022. The interest rates on the existing bonds are really low. They're 2.35 to 2.75, but rates right now are closer to 1.325. And the difference between the rates on this refunding and the COs is just the term. The COs have a longer term, so therefore a higher rate than the refunding bonds, which have a final maturity in 2028. We structure the savings to take the majority of that savings in 23 and 24, and that's for tax rate management. Again, to one of the tools that we have to make sure there's no INS tax rate increase from the additional debt for the COs. Total savings is around $180,000. This also includes 25 basis points of cushion as well. So hopefully we'll be inside of this when we can come back to you early next year. Page 5 is just the timeline. Again, we'll sell these together, the COs and the refunding bonds. We're here tonight for the council to consider authorizing publication of the notice of intent to issue COs, and then Jennifer is well aware, and Leslie, as far as the publication requirements, will work with bond counsel to make sure all the publications are put in the paper appropriately. There's 2 publications that we'll need. We've got one set for November 11th, and then another publication for November 18th. Part of this process will go to the rating agency that we've worked with before and get a credit rating. They'll look at a lot of criteria: fund balance, economic growth, income levels, debt load. So we'll go through that process and assist staff to make sure we've got everything we need for that meeting as well. And then we'll receive our rating towards the end of this year, and then use that to competitively bid the COs and refunding. And we'll take bids January 11th. That's when the rates will be set. Come back to council that night with the formal bids for both the refunding and the COs for an award for the winning bidders, and then we'll close February 16th. So that's the timeline we're working off. Page 6 is just an interest rate graph. Rates are still extremely low. They've crept up a little bit in the last month or so, but they're still really low. They've been higher about 90% of the time over the last 10 years. So it is a good time to borrow money for local governments. There's no doubt. We've not seen an environment like this before. It's this low. So that's the summary of the 2 issues. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Question, prior to being on council, I had heard sitting out there, this will not affect citizens' pockets, correct? Our taxes are stayed the same rate. We're not going to, as us,
Right.
feel anything, correct?
The schedule that's in place is one that there's 2 scenarios. There's one where there'll be a 0 tax impact. There's also a scenario we're looking at where it's actually a lower tax and still borrowing, or planning what it would look like if we got permission up to 10 million.
The 10 million.
So tonight, no borrowing is going on tonight. Right. We are setting ourselves up to be in a position to announce that we're looking to complete projects in the city, and we're also looking to issue up to $10 million in bonds to,
Have we looked at rates, as in you said rates could go higher? So what is our threshold, what is our cushion on rates moving up higher than if it goes up 0.5%, 0.75%? How is that gonna impact what you're showing us here? Is that cushion of 1.1 million gonna offset some of that if that happens? How's that?
That's one cushion. We can contribute more from the INS fund balance. These rates have already 25 basis points of cushion in them. Hopefully between now and we come back in January, we haven't used that cushion. The other option is, you can extend the maturity. If that's one option. That typically happens when rates go up, for entities that want to borrow and maintain a no tax increase. So those are your options really. We've got cushion built in here. You can extend the maturity and also use some more INS fund balance. The good news is when rates go up, typically the short end of that curve, it doesn't have all that much impact because the loan's so short versus a 30-year transaction where rates go up by quarter. It's a big impact, but when you're already borrowing only for 10 years, it has less of an impact of how that interest just is stacked on over 10 years versus a 20 or 30-year loan. So that provides some cushion as well.
Okay, thank you.
And as we get closer to the time of actually going out to bid, if those rates take a significant swing, we can always look at reducing the amount
Sure.
that you're going to borrow. So
yeah, that's part of the decision is the projects that come back from the studies that we have out. The community input is gonna be some of the feasibility studies or the facilities plan will include community input, so it'll be based off of that as well.
Okay.
The last time we took out certificates of obligation was in 2012.
no.
Well, with the Stormwater Street recently, and then before that,
2018.
the 2018 before that.
And are those included in what we're?
Yes.
Okay.
That is included, assuming the refinancing of the 2012 COs is included, as well as the debt for the fire engine replacement that is later on the agenda. That is all included. I wanted to make sure you had the full picture. There's also a separate analysis. I know he showed the 3.5% growth over the next 6 years. Included in the packet is a separate analysis that includes 5% growth over the next 6 years, which is probably more accurate for what we're looking at. Staff hopes that we'll be at the 5% because we do need some more room on the M&O side of our tax rate equation. So your tax rate is made up of two sides. It's your maintenance and operations and your INS, your interest in seeking or your debt funding. We're very lean on the operations side. So if there's a reduction on the INS side, that gives us a little bit more wiggle room to kind of beef up some operations. Some of these things that we're gonna do, potentially with facilities, broadband, some of those things do have an operational impact as well. So anything that if we have a new building, we've gotta take care of it. We've gotta staff it, we've gotta mow it and power it and all those things. So there's an operational cost. So any wiggle room we can get on the operations side would be good too. So we are looking at that. Again, Paul mentioned, I want to reiterate, using the debt fund balance that we have built up over time because we are conservative in how we budget and we have such a high property tax collection rate, those funds can only be used to fund future debt issuances. So we're thankful to have that, to be able to offset that and look at doing this without any impact to the homeowner or businesses in our community.
The interest rates are pretty attractive.
They are.
I never thought I'd see it. Yeah.
So we started this conversation with looking at issuing $5 million now, and then when some other debt fell off, potentially another $5 million. But when you look at interest rates and you hear
Yeah.
how low they are right now, it made sense to go ahead and move forward. If we could do it without any impact to the homeowner or businesses in our community. So.
I think given that and the fact that these are projects that are not gonna go away over time, they're just gonna get more expensive to bring forward as the cost of everything goes up. It's a pretty good plan.
Agreed. I have no other question.
So Mayor and Council, what we will need from you is action on resolution R 21-1109-02. Is ordinance directing the publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation and resolving other matters related to the subject.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve resolution R21-1109-02, directing publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation and resolving other matters related to the subject.
Second.
And just to be clear, that is an amount of $10 million, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
I have a motion from Councilman Briscoe. I'm not sure who won between Councilman Lowe and.
We'll let the new guy
Let
have
me
the
get it.
honors.
You're so kind.
Okay.
Second.
Councilman Rosenstein. All right, any further discussion? Does this need a roll call vote, or can it
Yes,
be?
sir.
Okay, so, Ms. Hargis, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Sorry, give me one. Okay. Zach Briscoe,
Yes.
Michael Lowe,
Yes.
Georgia Harris,
Yes.
John Chambers,
Yes.
and Heath Rosenstein.
Yes.
All right. The motion carries. Let's move on to item number H7. This is discuss, consider, and act upon authorizing the city manager to purchase a new fire truck engine and associated equipment, and authorize a bank loan with Austin Bank in the amount not to exceed $678,192.60. And this is where I get to say one of my favorite things I've ever said in a council meeting. We are excited to hear about Chief Johnson and what the lieutenants have found.
Mayor and Council, Chief Johnson and Lieutenants Brown, Lieutenant Hicks, and a few others on the fire department have been working since 2019 to spec out a new fire engine for the city of Whitehouse. It is a long, arduous process that I'm very thankful I'm just involved on the financial side of those conversations. I think there's some clawing, scratching, and I don't know, maybe some hitting among them to determine what needs to go on these fire trucks. They're fully customized. They worked with 3 different vendors to spec them out and get quotes. And after a lot of hard work on their parts and under the leadership, again, of Lieutenants Brown and Hicks, which I'm very thankful for all their hard work on, we're excited to come to you tonight and ask to move forward with a bank loan with Austin Bank. As you've heard, we've been working with Specialized Public Finance for quite some time on getting our debt strategies lined out. And we talked to them about pursuing either a tax note or a bank loan. They've recommended a bank loan because, again, the way interest rates are right now, they recommended that we go out to our local bank, and with Austin Bank being our depository, we reached out to them and are asking you to approve a loan for a new fire engine in the amount of $678,192.60. This will not only provide a new fire engine for the fire department, it also includes SCBA's and all the equipment that is needed for the fire engine. If you've never been involved in the purchase of a fire engine before, I can tell you that this is extremely reasonable, and I know it speaks to the hard work of the fire department to get this in a way that is effective and efficient for our city. So we're very thankful for that, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is it just SCBA's or any bunker gear or anything included?
It's, so it'll be coming with, 8 new SCBA, the packs themselves, bottles to go on the air cylinders to go with it, new masks, as well, including all of the, what we call loose equipment to go on the truck, all of the hand tools, everything we need to outfit the truck is included in all that.
We handle the purchase of their bunker gear through their regular operational budget.
And it's got an electrical booster line, rewind.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
And I'd just like to say, I deal with a lot of commercial equipment, you know, with trucks and then heavy equipment, and I know what the prices are, and this looks like a really good price for a fire engine. I've never, you know, priced one before, but just going based on what the Caterpillar stuff costs and big trucks, it looks like a really good rate.
Absolutely. Very excited to get this done for you. I got a buddy that I've known for a long, long time, and he's a firefighter in Sarasota County, Florida. And I was telling him about this new fire truck, and he was salivating at all the things that we're able to get. So very excited to provide something that we are able to use that's top of the line. Hopefully we won't have to use it very often, right? Would be great, but just want to say thank you for your service as well. Appreciate all y'all do.
This will replace our 1985.
Oh,
Yes.
is that gonna be a park attraction now?
So we'll be excited to get that one
My big question,
down.
what color is it?
Black.
Black. Wow, okay.
Prevents confusion.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have anything to say or any questions on this topic? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion authorizing the city manager to purchase a new fire engine and associated equipment and authorize a bank loan with Austin Bank in the amount not to exceed $678,192.60.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Do I need a roll call on this one because it's budgetary?
Sure.
All right, take a roll call vote, Ms. Vargas?
Sorry, Keith Rosenstein,
Yes.
John Chambers.
Before I vote, real quick, I used to work for a company, Allied Specialty Vehicles, and one of their branches, makes fire trucks. And so I don't know if I need to potentially disclose that as a conflict of interest. I never worked with that side of the division, but, I just wanted to put it out there.
I think since we're not buying it from them, it should be.
Yeah, okay.
You missed your opportunity to get us a further discount.
Now you tell us.
It was not a good experience.
So it doesn't sound like a conflict, so feel
Yeah.
free.
Yes.
Georgia Harris.
Yes.
Michael Lowe
Yes.
and Zach Briscoe.
Yes. All right. It's approved. Congratulations. Will it be in time for the Christmas parade?
Yeah, right?
That's a good point, Mayor.
Santa on top.
I wanna ride.
12 to 18 months is usually the lead time.
Well, I know that was a 2-year search, so we appreciate your diligence and your effort.
Very much.
Finding us the best fire truck ever.
Done a great job. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, so that takes us to item 8, discussion, interview, and action on filling a vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Probably the most patient person I've met in a long time. Miss Amanda M. Kelly is here with us tonight. Miss Kelly, will you please come up to the podium? Up there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
if you could actually take a seat where Mrs. Black is sitting,
Sure. All right.
give you a feel for what it's like up here. You might change your mind. So in your packets, council, you'll find an application that was submitted by Ms. Kelly some time back for the vacancy that is available on Planning and Zoning. And I have some questions that we have asked to the council, and we have changed them so they apply to Planning and Zoning. And if you don't mind, I'll run through those right quick. And council can feel free to follow up on any of these questions that I asked. So please briefly tell us about yourself.
My name's Amanda Kelly. I've been a resident of Whitehouse for almost 5 years, moved here from Dallas. I'm a special education coordinator for an online school. Been doing this for about 10 years. Prior to, I worked for Grubb & Ellis in Dallas as a commercial real estate broker. So I have a little bit of a background in commercial real estate. I have one 9-year-old kiddo who goes to Kane Elementary, and my husband David is a paramedic in Rockwall County.
Excellent. All right. So what makes you want to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Well, ever since we moved here, there's been just a ton of growth. We live over off of Corey in Hagen. So just watching those developments come up, Forestdale, and, you know, scouring online and reading through your minutes and the plan and the vision and the things that you guys have posted online, it's just interesting and fascinating to see the growth that's happened just in the 4.5 years since we've been here. Since I do have a little bit of a background in real estate, I just find that planning and zoning process interesting, talking through what that development piece looks like. Obviously have a vested interest in continuing to see growth and beautification of the city, and I want to be here for a long time and see the city grow and improve.
Excellent.
You've been on Planning and Zoning Committee before?
I have not,
Prior?
I have no city government experience at all.
Okay. Any boards that you volunteered for? Any committees just in general, just outside of government? Any volunteering experience?
I volunteer with CPS. I do some work with CASA, do some home study reports for the Department of Family and Protective Services. When I worked for a brick and mortar school, I sponsored all kinds of activities. We did Habitat for Humanity, I sponsored student council, things like that. But now that I'm virtual, not as many opportunities to do that. And I work from home, so I don't get to interact with a lot of people. So I think that was part of the draw for me too, is to get out and see people in the community and have those face-to-face interactions.
Absolutely. Do I have a question? You've been here for 5 years. You're from Dallas. Where do you see? You said you scour our minutes. You said you have seen what we're talking about on council. Where do you see the biggest need? Say we fill the position with you. Where do you see the biggest need in our community?
So I see a lot of things talking about walkability, and I think that's a really interesting concept. I really like to visit like Mineola, Lindale, these cute little towns that have the ability to walk from place to place. They're cute, it's a tourist draw. I would love to see Whitehouse move in that direction, and I think when I first started looking online, that's really what I was looking for, reading the vision and seeing. I live where I can access the walking trail, Blackhawk, and I do that often. I think that's awesome, and I just am really interested in seeing what else is planned and how else we see those improvements happen.
Okay, that's awesome.
I just admire you for stepping up and your interest, in serving your community. And you may be busy if you get this deal. You might.
Am I the only applicant?
You may be. You might get pretty
Is that
busy.
saying
I can't deny or confirm
Well,
that.
I think the consensus is we are growing, and so you may need your hiking shoes. Get ready, or
I
running
think
shoes.
that. I think that's good news for everyone. who
It
lives here.
is.
Sounds like she has some hiking shoes already. She's been working the trail.
That's
Walk
right.
the trails, yes.
So our final question, just because you've been asked a few, what project in the city that we're currently working on excites you the most? A big project or big initiative that we're bringing forward?
I don't think this is a popular opinion, but I'm really excited about Starbucks coming.
Tax revenue.
It's-
We are writing about tax revenue, baby.
You guys are getting roasted online for the Starbucks edition, but I was like, so excited about that.
Oh, the people that are in your quarter are silent.
I like that Starbucks is coming because we do have tax revenue. As we bring in big retailers like that, I think it's great.
Nice. It offers people a place to go work. I mean, I think there's a big draw to
Puts us
that.
on the map even
Sure.
more. I mean, shoot, may not be a popular decision, but
And it might be a preemption for other industry and other investors to come into the town.
Yeah.
I love brick and mortar.
Mhm.
So anyway.
Well, that's definitely
Absolutely.
a testament to your bravery, the types of bravery that we'll need to see on planning and zoning. Councilman Briscoe was president of planning and zoning for years.
5 years.
5 years planning and zoning, so,
It's a lot of fun.
yeah. That third year where they all got tattoos, that was weird. but,
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Ms. Kelly?
No questions for me?
All right. Well, I think you're golden. Do we need to move on this? We can go ahead and make a motion to nominate Ms. Kelly to planning and zoning. I'll entertain that.
We'll make the motion.
Motion from Ms. Councilman Harris. Any second?
A second. Didn't matter.
All right. Councilman Briscoe, just because I was looking at you. Second with Councilman Briscoe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, welcome to planning and
Thank you.
zoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you. And thanks for sticking around. This was a longer one than normal to get to that point. All right, so that takes us to item number 9. Consider future agenda items. Mrs. Black is showing the items that are already going to be appearing on the next city council meeting agenda. If you have some more that you would like to see added, please state so at this time.
I don't know if this is time to say, but I would like to, as we move into 2022 and as we continue to look at growth, our projects, as we continue to build our community, we're looking at adding a lot of attractions that are going to attract more residents to our city, so we're going to be growing. So I'd like to really look at moving into 2022, personnel. Is our city staffed properly to withstand this growth? Infrastructure-wise, when it comes to our shoot, we got fire department here, we got police here. Are we set up to sustain that growth? If we have 100,000 people moving in the next 2 years, do we have enough safety to withstand that? So I'd like to see what like Bullard has. What are our surrounding communities?
Yeah.
What are they doing? What are they doing in that?
So that would be, I guess, a demonstration of city staff and the hats that you all wear and what cities of similar size have in place. And the successful ones, don't bother with any of the ones that aren't successful. But is that what you kind of had in mind? to
Yeah,
see if
staff
we're-
wise, pay. What are we on par with pay? Are we on par with benefits? Are we? Because we want to attract good people to our city as well. So as we grow, which I know we are, safety is one of my number one things. I've got kids that come here just like you, everyone here does, and so we want to make sure I want to make sure that we're not growing. We got a small base and a large top. I want to make sure that we are uniform all the way around. It's just something to like to look at.
Do you know how the survey is going? Are you able to see numbers of who's completed it?
We've had approximately 300 responses, which is
300?
really good.
Wow.
I will say some are outside the city because I can tell by their comments on, some of the issues that they're bringing up, but it's been great. We have an intern from Tyler Junior College who has been working with us on putting that out, and he's working to start correlating those responses now. So we will cover all of that in great detail at our next meeting.
We also had a survey on, I think it was walkability or pedestrian survey.
Yes, we've only gotten one response on that so far.
I think the difference might be one of them's digital and one of them
Yes.
requires you to print it
So
out.
we'll convert the other one to digital.
Right. I
The
didn't
idea
take
of
it.
the walkability was that you take it with you and you respond while you're doing it, but we will convert it to.
You
a
walk while you
digital-
fill it out, yeah.
So we'll do a digital version and start pushing that out now that the community's wide. I was on a tighter timeline on the community-wide survey because we're using an intern. He needs to be done by the end of the semester. So we'll start promoting the walkability a little bit more.
And what about the volunteers for the Christmas decorations? Have you had a good response on that?
We have about 20 volunteers signed up, so
Okay.
later this week I'll be sending out an email just to kind of nail down dates and logistics on that. So.
Awesome.
And if he hasn't signed up already, if you could share that with Mr. Beaton, he said he'd like to get the Boy Scouts involved as well.
Do we have a ballpark idea on the dates?
Either the 20th or the 27th would be preferable if you can, but we can also do those either the Sundays, the 21st or the 28th, or we can make sure you have what you need during the week if that time works better. We just need to have them done before the Christmas parade and Christmas in the park.
I think they're going for a big push on the 20th. They're hoping to
The
do it
20th.
before
That works
everybody
for me.
goes out.
That'd be
I would
ideal.
imagine so.
27th, I'm out of town, but
27th is Thanksgiving weekend, so we'll try and get it as much as we can done on the 20th, and then staff will help.
They were really excited at the last Keep White House Beautiful meeting. They were blown away by the amount of volunteers. They're so
Yes.
happy to get help with that.
Yes, we were. Yes.
This year.
Yes.
That's good.
There was a lot of sore backs at the
Yeah.
at the end of last year.
Yeah, last year, being a part of Keep White House Beautiful, it was, from what I heard, was tough to do with limited hands. So this year, having this many hands already volunteer-wise is fantastic. This Christmas is going to be amazing. I mean, the kids have gone through a pandemic, and we're coming together as a city, and we're going to make it great for everybody. Santa is coming. Let everyone know, kids, Santa is coming this year.
Is he wearing a mask?
Well, if he's coming to Texas, he ain't.
All right. So, anything else to consider on future agenda items? I don't think there was anything to add on that last part. I'm Santa coming. Anything else to add as far as consider future agenda items? All right. Well, hearing nothing, that takes us down to I, executive session. We're not going to do that. So we're not going to go to J, which is convene. That takes us to item K, adjourn. The time is now 7:24. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. And welcome new council.
Yes, thank you,
Hey,
Mayor.
can we get a group picture real quick before y'all leave?
Make sure
Yeah,
Dick,
that'd be wonderful.
make sure Dick gets his mail.
on Christmas, do we decorate the water tower? Do we put like Christmas lights up?